Fellas, I want to talk about this whole RHO TRX thing. Man, it's freaking awesome. We were in this truck all day with the family, sledding and wheeling and everything. Shoot, I even got stuck. My brother-in-law in his Jeep had to yank me out with, oh, look at that. You're not going to get that with your RHO, but I'm not here to put one down or not. I just want to share my video why I would and wouldn't buy one. But guys, whatever this company is, ARB, they do a phenomenal job, man. I've yanked box truck with this thing, a loaded box dump truck. It's a dump truck more than anything else, those half semi things with a dump bed on the back. My brother-in-law, well, this TRX thing was easy, and it does phenomenally. Something else I want to underline is this mat I just put in here a couple weeks ago by these guys. Guys, this is the only product I ever got for free by anyone. When they reached out to me, I said, hell yeah, excuse my language, but I'm like, yes sir. I run all their light bulbs, and they just do a good job. Now, as far as the TRX, right? That is the modification. As far as modifications on this TRX, I'd like to jump in and just get back to driving. My kids are knocked out; they're sleeping in the back. So, well, I'll talk about what I use it. But here's mud flaps, bed mat, and a tent. So you guys need to realize this thing is practically stock. I haven't modified anything any way, shape, or form. So that's important for this video to know. I off-road this thing on a mild level, on a mild scale. So you guys need to understand that too. So that my use for this TRX isn't fully for what it was intended. It's kind of like a Baja truck scenario, and that's not me. But you know, we wheel through a little bit of sand, mud, and snow, and it's an outdoors truck more than anything, but we enjoy the look, the sound, and the experience that it provides for us. So just so you understand what kind of consumer I am, I don't jump this truck, I don't do anything crazy, but I definitely enjoy a fast vehicle, which this truck is. I consider a super truck, right? Out of the trucks, what is there? There's two contenders, TRX and Raptor R. Everything else is under them, right? Two top dogs. Anyways, so we got this topic of RHO, guys. I want to share my expertise as far as a mechanic. I don't build engines for a living. I don't rebuild them for liability reasons. But we've overhauled a few engines for ourselves. So if you're new to the channel, we run a couple transportation operations. One's a hot shot, the other one's an 18-wheeler. You can check out my other videos and it'll speak for itself. But anyway, so being mechanically inclined, guys, and this thing has the aerodynamics of a brick. So the bumper is horrible for aerodynamics. These tires are horrendous. The suspension, yes, it plays a role as far as energy goes. And here we're putting in a 3.0 inline 6 with turbos on it. This is where there's the problem. Here's the problem, and we need to talk about it. Here's what it is. In a perfect world, right? In a perfect world, they put that engine in there for MPG. Well, there ain't nothing consistent and there ain't nothing perfect about off-roading. There's nothing perfect about wheeling. So you need a girthy engine. You need an engine with torque, and you need an engine with displacement. There's a reason why they say there's no replacement for displacement. It's not just a cool saying. There's a lot behind it. Once you start utilizing your truck, you will realize that. No way, shape, or form am I saying you're short on power. Prime example, you know, Ram does this, Ford does it, right? You have, let's take the same engine, right? You have a 6.4 Hemi gas-powered engine, bigger engine, producing what, 400 horse and some change? And then you have this 3.0 producing 400 some change on the SL and 500 some change on the HOs, right? But you won't see those engines swap positions. Why? Because they have their prime target, they have their focus, and they have their purpose. You won't get a 2500 with a 3.0 inline 6 in it, and neither will you get a 1500 with a 6.4 Hemi. Now, these are pretty close. These are 6.2 and better yet, supercharged. Where am I going with this, guys? Your RHO is only going to get the fuel mileage benefit compared to the TRX in a perfect environment, right? You're doing 55, 60 miles on the interstate. You're not pushing the truck. You're not loading the truck. You're not towing with the truck. From my gathered info and what I've gathered from what guys are seeing out there, we got about a 2-mile gain, 3 mile at best. But as soon as that engine needs to work, and I'll bet you money on it, as soon as that engine needs to work, your fuel mileage goes out the choo-choo so far and gone, your head's gonna spin. So where am I going with this? As soon as you come out here wheeling in wet snow, this is nothing compared to what I just did about an hour ago. I bellied out, all fours were hanging. I get on a play toy with my legs hanging. My brother had to yank me out. That's why I was showing you the bungee rope there. And people cut the tree. She's a little wide, so you got to make it between the cuts. So what I'm getting at is, as soon as you start working the RHO, it's not going to croak on you. It's not going to leave you high and dry. It just loses its purpose. It loses its sole design of fuel mileage, right? It did not give us more power. It doesn't have shortness of power. 500 plus horse is nothing to sneeze at. It's phenomenal power. But it wasn't designed to work. It wasn't designed to push it through sand, through mud, through snow. If you haven't done it, you don't know what I'm talking about. But you guys out there wheeling, you guys know a lot of it gets done through gearing. And that's not, I mean, they're not geared steep enough to get that benefit. They're geared to get good fuel mileage. And then they're steep. I think the 1500 we ran is 392 on those. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's where it's at. So it's decently steep, but it's just not steep enough. So outside of the perfect roam, which doesn't exist in off-roading, you're not going to get the fuel mileage. So the sole purpose of that engine has been destroyed. You're not going to be stuck on the side of the road. It's a good engine. It's a fuel-efficient engine in its own roam, and that's the key. That's where the target was missed, guys. I know they're trying to meet their cafe. They're trying to meet all these guideline rules. Just, there's no replacement for displacing. Dice and slice it any way you want. This girthy truck needs a good engine, you know, at least a 5.7 or 5.7 Hemi would be a good fit for this truck as a bare minimum. 3.0 is a phenomenal engine for the regular 1500. For the aerodynamic, low air drag, low tire drag, you know, you'll get your fuel mileage and you'll be in that perfect optimal range for that engine far more than that RHO is ever going to see, because the suspension, because of the tires, and the air drag is just, the drag on that truck so bad. Where am I getting this info? Guys, you baby this TRX, you're going to get some solid fuel mileage. You know, I could be in the 16 mile to the gallon all day as long as I keep it at 60 miles an hour. I don't have patience for that, so I never see it at 16. Have I seen those zones? Yeah, there's a few times I had to take it easy. Last Christmas I had to haul a Christmas tree and the branches were flopping in the air. I just didn't want to upset mom and break the branches off, so I kept it under 60 and I got phenomenal fuel mileage. But guess what? I missed the target so bad by driving this truck at 60 miles an hour. It was disappointing. So everything has its time and place. This is a party truck. This is, you get your paycheck, you put it in the fuel tank, and you hit the skinny pedal. You know, take it easy, because it'll take quite a few paychecks to keep this thing running for the month. But you guys know what I'm trying to tell you here. Our RHO is a phenomenal truck. A lot of you guys are screaming off to see, hey, what about the Raptor, the V6? Look how great we've done. Yeah, look how better the Gen 1 has done with the V8 in it. You know, Gen 1s demand high return, high value. I believe same thing's going to happen with this TRX. They're going to hang out in their 60s to 70s used based on condition. It's kind of hard, because when you're looking at a used truck at that rate, 60, 70, maybe 80, low mileage, really clean, versus RHO, which is what, 65, 70. They have some heavy rebates right now. They're just trying to push product. Tough times right now. So, you know, consider that. In the long run, I feel, well, flat out, the V8 is the proper engine for the TRX, or the RHO for that matter. There's nothing wrong with the 3.0 RHO staying on the pavement. You know, a lot of people are like that. They just like the looks. They like the suspension. They keep it on the pavement. It's a pavement princess. And guess what? You are ahead at that point. You're gonna get 2 miles to the gallon better than I ever will, because I'm out mudding, snowing, and I mean, I don't sink it in mud, but you know, I mess around. I have fun with the truck. I use it partially for what it was intended. I know that a turboed engine, as soon as you work it, even us today, you know, we were doing what? There's some rocks that rolled over here. Even us today, you know, we've been out here most of the day. A little bit of highway, mostly out here. Call it wheeling or whatever. This is nothing compared to what we were doing about an hour ago. I told you, it's thick, heavy wet snow. You know, 95 miles. Well, probably 30 of those miles were highway, and the rest of them were just out here in the boonies, just sledding and having fun. The kids are all knocked out. They're tired from sledding. Well, at least I think they are. Well, some of them are on their phones. Thank you guys for staying quiet. Moral of the story, guys. There's a time and place for everything, but this party truck or party bus or party truck needs a party engine, and fuel economy just doesn't belong in the same sentence as a TRX. As simple as that. There's just, you can't have it all. You can't have your fuel mileage and you can't have your power. One day I think we'll get there. Hybrids, I think that's the future. You know, a nice solid engine with a little power battery pack, what I call it. Look what the Germans did with their AMGs. I think that's the future. Short little range, you know, 20-30 mile range. It helps them off the line. It helps them a little bit here and there, so their fuel mileage doesn't get sucked down so hard. And I think that is the future. Hybrid is the future, not full electric anytime soon. Full electric has its time and place, but it's not for the heavy duty hybrid. But that's the conversation for another time. Guys, I'll let you go. I'm happy you guys joined me on this drive. I know it's beautiful out here. It really is. Let me answer one question I've been asked, kind of caught me off guard. Would I consider the RHO, if I did not have a TRX or an RHO right now, if I was in, the gentleman's probably in his mid-20s, younger gentleman, he's like, Paul, would you consider, he's one, would you get an RHO? I told him, listen, man, if this been bugging you, he's like, Paul, I almost bought a TRX 3 times, and I just can't grasp the financial side of it. You know, he's a self-made kind of guy. He's close to being a millionaire, I guess, if he sold all his gas. It's just a sharp kid, you know. Wife kind of handed him lemons, and he made lemonade out of them. But he's been contemplating. I said, listen, man, just if you could get your hands on a TRX, the engine matches the truck. The 3.0 does not match the off-road thing. And I know a lot of you guys are screaming right now, well, this and that. Guys, there's a reason why the Raptors sell at one price and the Raptor R's demand such a premium, right? There's a reason why they're giving you an RHO at $65,000 right now. Heavily discounted. They're just pushing them out. And then when the TRXs came out, ain't nobody struggled to buy those things. They did not discount them. They had adjusted market pricing on those. So use some common sense. Don't ignore the facts. It is what it is. It is how it is. There's no free rides. If you want to party and you want to party right, you gotta have to pay. And the TRX, it's fuel. I have no other complaints. This thing has been phenomenal for 20,000 miles. 20,000 miles, guys. 700 horse. Do I use them every day? No. Do I let it stretch its legs? Yep. How do you think I hang around at 10 miles to the gallon? Here and there, I let her rip. And that's what puts a smile on my face. Yep. First couple months of owning it, it got annoying real quick. You know, $5 a gallon. It's quite, you know, it gets expensive, but you gotta prioritize your life. If getting in a TRX puts a smile on your face after a rough day, like, what is there to contemplate on it, right? Right now, I myself am going through a tough time in my life, and you know, I don't need another crazy expense and all this. I'll tell you what, man, I get in this thing and fire her up and take off, and it makes me smile. and that's worth it. You know, if you're the guy that doesn't care about it, dude, do not buy a TRX. It's a burden. It's a financial burden. If it doesn't make you smile, if you're gonna do your numbers, end of the day, if you're gonna do your numbers, there's nothing good about the TRX as far as numbers. There's no fuel mileage. There's no mathematical, right? It eats up tires, goes through tires pretty quick. Everything's expensive on it. Once it's out of warranty, I don't want to know how much these shocks are. I have an idea, but I don't know for a fact. So this engine, you know, you treat it well, it treats you well, but if it goes south, good luck. The rest of the truck's pretty pricey, right? But it's not too bad. That's one thing I like about it. Where I'm going with this, your life's too short, but it's also has it's quite the roller coaster. I don't know, maybe you live a perfect life, but I'm just basing it off my own life here. I'm 34 years old tomorrow, so it has its roller coasters. And some people, you know, they go out and drink and they party, and that's how they get their high and whatnot. Some people go out racing, some people go out golfing. Everyone has their hobby. Don't lose that. And if yours is you know, I'm preaching to myself, the first guy here, but if that's what it is for you, why would you buy a handicap truck? That's how I view the RHO. It's a handicap truck. If you're gonna say, I don't know if any of you guys looked at the suspension. The suspension is so beefy. The frame is so overkill. Why in the world do you think my truck scales 6,800 pounds on the scale? Yes, I've done trash runs. I went to the local scale house because trucks were put out. There's part of me that you guys probably don't. Average Joe that's watching this doesn't know. One of my companies provides roadside assistance, and once in a while, I'll go out there. You know, my guys are short on this part, my guys are short on that too. I'll go out there and run it out for them, right? So this truck does see highway. This truck does see a box of brake shoes or a wrench in the back, but it's not. You can't consider that truck stuff. But at the end of the day, it's definitely nice. You know, it's definitely nice having that bed. You know, I've got it dirty a few times, oily. You just go through the car wash, it does the trick. I'm not saying it's spewing oil, but you know, a little bit of grease and oil never killed nobody. But you put that in a SUV, that's one thing. In a pickup bed, it's a whole different ballgame. And it's not ideal in any, but it's far easier in a pickup bed. Anyways, about that Mac, guys. I started telling you how I don't take in on sponsorships. I do not take free product. That's the first free thing I took off of YouTube. It just stuck out to me because I get hundreds of emails. I never cared, but just kind of scrolling through. I was looking for an email. A subscriber was texting me or an email on me, and I found LastFin. It was odd because that's the only company I use for my LEDs. Nobody else. I mean, I gave up on LEDs, and all of a sudden, but my best friend's like, dude, you should try this company. They're solid. 2 weeks later, the guy that's leasing out, my buddy in the shop is like, hey, you should try this company. I'm like, oh, that's weird. 2 for 1, right? Or 2 people in 1 month. So I tried them, and it's good. My favorite little USB-C, USB-A charger is them. And so when they reached out to me about the mat, I'm like, yes, sir, send her on over. So, guys, it's a solid mat. It's definitely a fine product, proper product. I never thought about buying one until they brought it up to me. I just didn't have the time. It was just a lousy excuse. You know, this thing is always being used, and I just have a hard time parking it for a week to get it bed lined and get a tonneau cover. There's a local company that priced me out and everything, and I was supposed to drop it off, but I never did. So, anyways, if you're in the market for a mat, look at LastFit, man, and their other products. They're just that's a hard company to find. They take pride in their quality, and you guys, my regulars, know I nitpick at a lot of things. And when a company could offer you fine finish and good fitment and good fine product, that's hard to find, and that is hard to. Just the industry, it's hard to find. Everyone's trying to take shortcuts and kick it to the curb. You know, that's just how I feel about it. Anyways, guys, as always, may the Lord bless you. May all have a mighty fine day. Ciao.